welcome back into Trojan Sports Now. Welcome into our interview segment. And some of you may recognize our guest today. She's a familiar face here in Trojan territory. It's Caitlyn Ramirez of the women's basketball team. Caitlyn, thank you for joining us
No problem.
today. And I understand you guys just got back from a tough road trip out in Texas. Just talk a little bit about that and kind of where your team's going from here.
We had went to Texas. We left early morning, Wednesday morning, and, we just traveled all day. And, we had a very strict game plan, what we wanted to go by when going against UTA. But, we got to realize that we're on the road. We're not in our own environment, anything like that. So it was definitely a tough loss that we had last week. But, we've gained from it. One thing I always say, you either win or you lose, but you can't lose entirely because you always learn something from that loss. So we definitely learned some things. It's a new week. We have Arkansas State this week, so we're getting prepared for that, and we're going to see how that goes from there.
Yeah, it's a long season. You guys have been on the road a lot. Maybe not as much as the basketball team consecutively,
Right.
but you guys have logged some miles yourselves. So I got to imagine when you're traveling so much like that, it's kind of tough to have to get off a bus after maybe a 10-hour drive and play games.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because we fly to Texas. We flew into Dallas, and we drove to Atlanta, flew from Atlanta, went to Dallas, then we were on the road for a little bit, and then we make sure we got to eat. Then from there, then you go to your hotel, then we go practice, and so everything's so back to back to back, especially on the roads. But those are things like you just have to fight through, and those things you kind of just got to make sure you take care of yourself and make sure you're just ready to play.
But that's a part of being a student athlete.
Oh, yeah.
However, that's got to be tough because especially to do it over and over again. This is your fourth year of college,
Right.
and your second year at Troy. That's just over the course of 4 years. That's got to stack up. The traveling.
Definitely.
But you guys are back at home. So what are some of the better things about being at home and playing in front of the home crowd?
We're back home. We're on our court. We're on our turf. So we're in front of our crowd, and that's one thing that we just love doing. And with it being this week for our seniors, this is our last of everything for this week. So we're definitely, stepping up our game and making sure that we're just ready to play both Arkansas teams this week. So that's one thing we just definitely all have to be on the same page and energy and effort, and we have to be determined to win this week. So if we get these 2 wins, it'll roll over into next week, and that's one thing we really need.
And being a senior, how much sweeter is everything becoming now? How much more real is it becoming that it's nearing the end?
It's all bittersweet from here on out. It really is. It's, I like to think personally if I've had a good season, but I know I can do better. So I push myself, and I'm really hard on myself at times too. I meet with the coaches all the time, and I'm just like, tell me what I need to do. I want to win. Tell me what I need to do. And so it's just come from a leadership role from now. So we're picking it up. We're cutting down on the time. We're cutting down on the practices, cutting down on regular season games. So we're kind of just taking it one day at a time. And I'm ready to get. Me and all the other seniors are just ready for conference, but I know we can't bypass this week first. We got to take one day at a time.
And how important are the relationships, or have they become since your senior year started?
It's definitely been it's been tough because you have to hold everybody accountable. If it's something simple as a freshman missing a layup, you have to let them know. If we lose by 2, which we did, if we would have made that one layup, then we would have overtime, and who knows what would have happened then. So, that's one thing that leadership role is very important, not just for me, but some of the other seniors on the team also. And so it's very important that we hold each other accountable, and the bond you have to have, because you can't talk to everybody the same way. You have to adjust the way you talk to people. And so everybody's different, but, we're all close on the team. We all have good chemistry on the court. But again, I still think that we can do better.
And then I want to ask you about Ashley Beverly Kelly, because she seemed to be someone that the team just absolutely loved, not only the
Right.
Troy community, but the team. You guys just gravitated towards her. What was something that you kind of picked up from Ashley, because she may not have been a leader by voice, but she certainly was a leader by action?
Oh yeah, she was definitely one of watch me and let's see if you can do it. That's definitely how she was, and I actually just talked to her not too long ago, and I stay in contact with her because again, I have some huge shoes to fill, this season, and coming following up after her, like it was definitely a huge role, but I also accepted that role at the beginning of the year also. And it was tough, but, I talked to her and she had just told me, you're able to do that, you can do it because you've seen me do it. And I was kind of like behind the scenes last year. She was a leader. She was, a true leader of the team, but she was for the guards and for the post players, that was me. And, I definitely had to fill that role. And so this year it's just leader overall. And so I had talked to her, and she's, she still encourages me at times, and she's still there for me, and even though she is overseas, but she's still there for me and helping me out in ways, because again, it's all new to me, and she's been there and done that, so she helps me a lot.
And then what about Coach Rigby? She seems to be a charismatic person. She's so full of energy, and she's always encouraging you guys, even when you guys lose, or even when you guys have a tough game. She's always so positive. I mean,
right.
What's it like to play under Coach Rigby? What's it been like for the last 2 years for you?
Oh, I love Coach Rigby. She's so the energy, because like if we come after a loss, like you get down, but that loss is over with. You learn, like I said, you learn from that, and you have to move on to the next one. And so that's one thing that she always wants to remind us about that, and she constantly does all the time. And she tells us that this is over with. We can't do anything about it now. We need to move on, because if we all just hang our head about it, we're never going to get anywhere. And so she just reminds us all the time that we just need to, keep our heads up, that we're still 2016 Sunbelt champions. So like she still constantly reminds us about that all the time. And so that's something we're going to fight for again this year. And so that's just something that we have to take one step at a time. But she's very spiritual. She's very, she has so many beliefs, and we all buy into her beliefs, and we all do everything we can by her, then, I mean, she hasn't failed us before, so there's no reason to now.
And then you're from Oklahoma, Shawnee, Oklahoma. I mean, what attracted you to Troy University? What kind of gravitated you from there to here? I mean, I know you went to junior college first, but
right.
Oklahoma isn't close to Alabama.
It's not. Yeah, it's definitely a long ways from home. What really brought me into it is the coaches. I had talked to Coach C almost every single day during the recruiting process, and she had told me, she's like, I want to do everything I possibly can to get you here. And I had told her that, I just want to win, and, simple as that. And I know the program before I got here wasn't doing so well, but, I wanted to change that. And she's like, we're on the uprise of wanting to change the program around. And she's like, and you can do that. And so I was like, I'm all in, count me in, where do I sign? Because that's exactly what I want to do. I want to change, like, I want to be a part of something. I want to continue to make history wherever I go. So, coming here to Troy, it's been great. And ever since then, we've had back-to-back, 20-win seasons. My first year here, that never happened. And so being a part of it, it's been really great. But the coaches are what really drawed me in to come to Troy.
And then being from Oklahoma, I have to ask you, I mean, basketball stars growing up, I mean, who really inspired you when you were going to play basketball?
I kind of just grew up into it, just because, like, my whole family was all about sports. Everybody played sports, and whenever, like, my friends are just like, oh, you have another tournament, I'm like, yeah, what do y'all do on y'all's weekends? And they're just all like, well, we just, like, have family dinners or something. Like, I was like, oh, well, I have a tournament. I was, so it's just like, y'all don't play sports either. And I just thought it was common. Like, I just thought everybody had done it. So it was very, that opened my eyes a lot. And then, but, it was definitely worth it to know that, I'm here at Troy, and, every single one of those weekends that I didn't go to a family cookout or, miss some birthday parties or things like that. But, being able to be a part of Troy University, a new program, and changing everything here within women's basketball, it's been pretty great. And, and I'm very thankful for every bit of it. So I've enjoyed it so far.
And you mentioned family. Do you have brothers, sisters?
I do. I have a brother. He's 18, about to be 19. It's his senior year also in high school. So he's battling just as much as I am. And I have 3 younger sisters.
All basketball players?
All basketball players.
All
My
basketball.
sister actually, the middle one, she was all about softball there for a little bit, but then she seen me playing nothing but basketball while I've been in college, and she kind of just gave that away. And, you know, she just tells me today, she's like, I just want to be just like you. And so she gave up softball. I was like, you don't have to give up softball. But, you know, so she just continues to play basketball. So
how cool is that to hear your sister say she looks up to you?
That gives me high expectations, like, you know, because I'm the oldest and I have a brother who's 18, again, about to be 19. And he also plays basketball. You know, he even stays with me over the summer, and we work out every single day. We're up at the gym 6 o'clock in the morning working out, and then I'll come back later that afternoon. We just go shoot. You know, so there's so much that we do in the summer, because if I set that bar, he's got to meet me at that, you know, that high standard. And so I just want him to follow his dreams. If he wants to play basketball, then, you know, nothing can stop him. And, you know, my sisters, I just want to be a good role model for them, and, you know, just know that basketball can definitely take you to school and it can get you a degree, and, you know, you just have to work for it just as hard as everybody else is.
And then final question, what's next for Caitlyn Ramirez when it's all said and done after Troy basketball is over? I mean, what do you want to do after
when
this?
It's all said and done, when my final chapter of my college career? It's really hard to say. I do have a degree. I already have my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I am in grad school now. I plan on graduating at the end of July with my master's. What I plan to do is eventually get into a special agent program, or work federally, and, you know, go from there. It's just so broad as of right now, because, you know, I got to put my foot in the door somewhere. So I just want to make a difference, you know, wherever I go, whatever energy I bring, or whatever motivations I can bring to anybody else. You know, I just want to make a difference wherever I go. So I'm hoping that being a special agent, I can do that.
Well, good luck to you. Good luck to you and the girls the rest of the season, and good luck to you all this weekend. And I wish you well on your senior day. And there you have it, folks. There you have it. Caitlyn Ramirez, special agent Caitlyn Ramirez, blocking shots on the court and soon to be blocking criminals out in the streets. Thank you for joining us on today's interview segment, and stick around as we bring you more from Troy Athletics here on Trojan Sports Now.